Hello and welcome to the Booksplosion, Dear Booksplosion, end of the decade live show. Today is going to be so much fun. We have like 15 categories to discuss the best and worst of the decade. We're going to be getting input from you guys, so definitely talk to us in the chat. We'll have a nice conversation. We're going to kick things off really quickly to let you know what our Booksplosion books of the month are, upcoming and current. So you have those in your calendar and you can pick those up, but then we'll jump right into our best of the decade. I'm so excited. It's gonna be grand. Okay, so somebody tell us about our December Booksplosion book of the month.
It's A Curse So Dark and Lonely. It's a fairy tale retelling of Beauty and the Beast. We follow a guy named Ren who has become a beast, and he basically has destroyed his whole kingdom. And we follow Ren, who lives in the normal day, our world, and one day follows a stranger and ends up in Ren's world. And she and him together try to figure out a way to break the curse.
Have you started that, Jesse?
I have, but I haven't gone very far.
Okay, well, she gets kidnapped. I'm not very far either. I'm very far. Look at me. I'm further than this. I haven't moved it since I've been doing the audiobook. But it's so good. I'm really enjoying it.
And our live show is on Friday. So we're finishing it in the next 2 days here.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And the audiobook's not out yet, but I can tell you right now, is good. It's so much fun. And I love that. I'm just loving the dialogue and the flow, and everything goes really nicely. And every end of the chapter, I'm like, I got to start the next chapter. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. And what about our January book of the month? Kat, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that would be Reverie by
our January book of the month. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
We need to have a live show where that doesn't happen.
One day, next decade. So this is a debut novel that just came out December 3rd. I believe it's a standalone, and it's about a boy named Kane who is wakes up half dead. He doesn't remember how he got there, what the situation was. And there are these people who claim to be his best friends and claim to be the only ones who can help him. And after this near-death experience, reality seems different. Things start to feel all shifty and weird, and situations keep warping. It's been pitched as Inception meets The Magicians. And yeah, it just sounds like a reality bending, genre blending, sort of fun, fascinating read. I'm really excited for this one.
Samesies.
Yeah.
Samesies. Another word of the decade.
And yeah, this is our January book of the month. We'll be announcing our live show date at a later time, but it'll be around the end of January.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay, guys, let's jump into our things. So I think we should start with our most recent conversation. We're going to be talking about our favorite and least favorite internet lingo of the decade. And so let's start with our favorites. Who wants to kick us off with their favorite internet lingo of the decade? You guys chime in the chat, please, your favorite internet words of the decade. Jesse.
Should I start with mine since you already know it?
Go ahead.
Okay. My favorite internet speak is the word soz. It means sorry. It's a shortened version of sorry. It's S-O-Z. It drives Christine up the wall, but I love it.
Arf, I hate S-O-Z. I was like, what are you even saying?
I honestly, when I first heard it, I got annoyed by it because Maureen was the person that used it on me first. What are you saying? She's like, it means sorry. And then I just hanging around her, I started saying it now, so it's ingrained in my head. But I love it. So
it's just it doesn't look like sorry. It doesn't sound like sorry. It's so.
It's Saz. Saz.
Saz would be S-A-W-Z to me. Saz.
I want my favorite. I mean, I love so much internet language. What I really love is when me and Jesse get to explain terms to Christine. That's always fun. One word that I really love is yeet. It's so versatile. It's so much fun. Just yeet, just throw it out the window.
That one has grown on me. At first, like I never hated yeet. I just like completely didn't get it. I still think it sounds like queef. I still think queef is like when your vagina emits air and it sounds like a fart. And that's what it sounds like to me. But I do like what it means. Like it's just kind of like a catch-all for chaotic nonsense is what I've gathered.
or it's a verb for like throwing something. I think that's where it came from. It was a vine where someone like handed a girl like an empty container and she was just like, this is empty, yeet, and she threw it in the crowd.
Okay. Someone said, I love AKS chicken.
I love that too.
What even is that? That's just typing. That's ASDF JKL semi. Like,
it's typing a keyboard smash.
Yeah, isn't keyboard smash isn't an out loud word?
You can make it one by going. If you guys have seen that Vine, I'm referencing another Vine. The Valentino bag, like you got lipstick in my Valentino white bag, and she like sputters, like it sounds like a keyboard smash. It's
like, whenever my daughter says yeet, I'm assuming she's saying yes.
It kind of works like that. Like it can be used as like an affirmative, like are you gonna be there? Yeet. Okay.
So my favorite internet lingo of the decade starts a little like earlier in the decade. These are all like hey, this is of the decade, not of the year.
Okay, boomer.
Christine's been around for a while, so.
What did you just say? I really still love Rafflecopter, which is so old.
That's really old.
But it means roll on the floor laughing, and they used to say it a lot in high school, which was like 2007, 2008. So it's a little before the day.
That's like MySpace era.
And then it's a little after MySpace. It's the start of Facebook. It's the start of something new. And yeeting I have on my list, and I have AF on my list because that's definitely from this decade that I started out hating AF. Like, it's hot AF, but then like it got easier and easier for my mind to wrap around it, and then I've grown to like it because sometimes you shouldn't be cursing, and so it's easier and clear what you mean when you say AF. People are saying woke. Yeah, woke is definitely a huge word that like emerged this decade. Like, so woke.
Oh, and someone said stan. That's another one.
Yeah, I remember when I first started hearing like stan, and I was like, I don't get it. A serious fan? Is that where it originated?
No, it originated from. No, it originated from an Eminem song way back in the day, from a previous decade, where the whole song was about like he had a fan whose name was Stan, and who he turned into like a stalker fan.
That's what it is, stalker fan.
Yeah.
Okay, I know it had this explained to me toward the beginning of the decade, and now I just know it's like
it's the connotation has changed, so it's not
just like it's a ride or die. Sort of.
Yeah, it's just like the biggest fan, like kind of situation.
Yeah.
I forgot about lit.
Lit. I like lit.
Lit fam.
That's fine. Okay, let's move on to our least favorite internet lingo. What do we hate that is internet lingo? I can go first if you guys want, because I have like 5. But if you have,
go off, sis.
Okay. I hate TBH because it always precedes something mean. So, like, to be honest, like, you're ugly. Like, that's what I like in comments whenever I see TBH. I'm like, shut up. And then SMH, and I never remember what SMH means. It's finally like shaking my head, but I'm always like, what are you even doing right now? What the heck is SMH? Like, and On Fleek was my least favorite, and I'm so glad it lived and died in like the period of a second. Because it's like, no, it's On Point, and On Fleek sounds so dumb. And Sauce.
I like On Point.
I like On Point too. On Fleek is dumb. And then SOZ, sorry. And the V instead of very.
I love the V.
I love that.
I prefer the V.
I like the, yeah.
Oh my god. I don't like wigs either because I don't really get it. Someone said wig.
I'm V disappointed in your choices.
What are your guys?
Not Saws.
Wow, you came for us. Drag us.
Oh yeah, YOLO was this.
YOLO is one of mine. I did not like YOLO. Just because like I didn't mind it and like I used it sometimes, but just the sort of like, I don't know, the energy that it evoked was always like,
it's like Dicky energy. Like,
yeah.
I don't know why is it Dicky.
I also have on my list GOAT, greatest of all time.
Oh, I was like, I thought you meant like a goat in Survivor, or like someone who gets dragged along.
No, I mean, I don't like goats in general. So like just hearing goat, I'm like, why are you talking about goats? And it means like all time.
I don't even do that.
Not a fan.
Mine is kind of, I was using this word and I didn't realize what it meant because it just like sounded cool. Like this was at VidCon too when I found out what it really meant. I was saying skeet skeet. It means to ejaculate. So don't use that word.
Oh, I thought it meant like vaginal discharge or something.
No.
Maybe it can mean both.
Maybe.
Yeah, in general, it means
it's like, it's like disgusting discharge. Cool.
Now let's use yeet yeet instead.
Yeah. Someone said FOMO, and that is one of mine. I didn't like that either. Like fear of missing out, and like people just use it all the time. It's just like you're not even like if it's just a random event happening somewhere else in the world that you're like not even near. It's like I feel like that applies more when like your friends all go out during high school during the weekend, like you can't go because you have homework. Like, and it's like, but people would use it for like the most random shit. And it's just like, stop.
I don't mind FOMO.
And I feel like Olivia always used it as an excuse to like go out drinking when she was like sick, and then she got pneumonia because she had like bronchitis, and then she was sick for like a month. And I was like, are you glad you gave into your FOMO now? Anyway, okay, next category, guys. Moving on to our top 5 albums of the decade. Who wants to kick us off? This was so hard. I have 11.
So hard.
I have 11.
How are we gonna go? Like one person gives all 5, or are we gonna like rotate around? I feel like we might have a couple crossovers.
We probably have a couple crossovers, so maybe you want to rotate?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. I'll start with one that I think might be a crossover.
Okay.
Reputation.
Yes. I have Reputation down as number 2.
Oh, I didn't rank mine. I couldn't do that much, but
well, I didn't make them right. I just like have them written with numbers next to them.
But yeah, Reputation was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Jesse, what's on yours?
It didn't make my list, but I have 1989 on mine, so that's my Taylor Swift record of it.
Everyone out of all the Taylor Swift albums that came out, I saw on a couple lists 1989, and I'm just like, really? Over all the other ones? Like,
I love.
I'm sorry. What did you say? I didn't catch that. I'm sorry.
Jesse, you have too much power.
I have too much power here. I love 1989, and I will fight to the death.
I love 1989 as well, and I love Lover. But I'm only choosing one T Swift for my top 5, and it's gonna be Reputation.
I have 11 things on my list, so I got 3. Oh, is it my turn to pick one? Jesse, did you say something? Oh, 1999. Okay, sorry. Anything with 1999 slips right out of my mind.
I'm sure that wasn't an insult.
No, it was literally a 1989ism that happens in my brain. Okay. Anyway, I have melodrama on here. I think that's a perfect album. It was so good.
I think that's like my favorite of the decade. Like out of all the albums, it's just so good.
It's the first one I thought of, honestly.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's on my list too. I was almost tempted to put both of Lord's albums on my list because Pure Heroine is also fantastic.
Yeah.
So good.
And we're getting a new Lord album in the new decade. I'm excited.
Cool. Kat, your turn.
Okay, here's one that's probably not on either of yours. Save Rock and Roll by Fall Out Boy.
Ah.
Yeah, I know. You guys don't have that one.
I don't have that one, but it was a good album.
I love that one, especially the title song, Save Rock and Roll, where they bring in Elton John. Is just as beautiful.
Cool. Jesse?
I feel like neither of you will have this on your list, and that is BTS, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Young Forever. It's the album that got me into K-pop, and it's just such a beautiful record. I know, Christine, you're not like super into K-pop, but I just like...
I know BTS.
I love like all the lyrics, their songs, all the music videos that they had for that era. Just on point, fantastic. Yes.
On fleek.
Before I say another one, someone in the chat said Femme Fatale, and that is the best Britney Spears album, and it did come out this decade. I forgot about it. It came out in 2011, and it was so good. I'd never listened to a Britney Spears album like start to finish over and over and over again until Femme Fatale, and wow, impressive. But anyway, on my list, the next one I have is the Hamilton soundtrack.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's just excellent, obviously.
I didn't put that on mine, but I should have because it's amazing. It like defined my, what was it, 2017 when
2016.
It came out, I listened to it in 2017.
Oh,
but
okay.
It took over my life.
Yeah, my Spotify stats for 2016 were all Hamilton, and Hamilton was my like artist of the year. Kat?
Here's one that is probably not on either of yours and that most people have not listened to because it came out at the very beginning of the decade and it's no longer like out, like it was an unreleased sort of album. 21 Pilots, Regional at Best.
Cool.
Such an amazing album from start to it's so good and it boggles my mind that like you can't listen to it on Spotify or anything because like it's genius. Regional at Best. You can find it on YouTube or something, but it's great.
I have Blurry Face on my list of 11.
Yeah, I love Blurry Face too, but like Regional at Best is like
Haven't listened to it. I know I've seen like all your references to it in your writing, or I think that's right.
Yeah. It's good shit.
Am I next?
Is it my turn or is it your turn?
It's Jesse.
Oh yeah, I think it is. I lost track. Go ahead.
I feel like you guys might not know this one, but it's Aurora's All My Demons Greeting Me as a Friend. Have you guys heard of that album?
Heard of it.
I know Aurora, but I haven't listened to her album.
Aurora's the girl from Frozen that does like the voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil. But it's just such a beautiful album. Like there's so many like songs that still give me chills to this day when I listen to them. And yeah, it's just so good. She's such a talented songwriter too. So definitely recommend checking out that album.
Next on my list, I have like an unforgettable record, Born This Way by Lady Gaga.
Oh.
And this came out also in 2011, right around the same time as Femme Fatale. And they both like defined my year. Like Born This Way just had so many amazing singles and so many iconic music videos. And we have a favorite best music video of the decade category today too. And dogs.
Yeah, that didn't quite make my list, but it's definitely very much up there for me. But my last installment on my list is another one that you guys aren't going to have on your lists. Mariana's Trench. I would love to say Masterpiece Theater, but that came out in like 2009, so like I just missed the cutoff for that one. But Ever After is also a fantastic album. All of their albums are great because they're kind of like cinematic and you can listen to them all in one go, and it's just like beautiful, great stuff. Very underrated band, Mariana's Trench. Highly recommend
them because of your recommendation while I was writing, but I didn't register any songs because I was like,
yeah,
in the zone. My last one is Paramore's After Laughter.
Love that one.
Album lyrically and just like so many songs that like I just connect to on like a spiritual level. So solid album.
The rest. What?
Well, I just say I have a lot of really good memories with that album because that's what I listened to on repeat while I was playing Breath of the Wild. So for just like a week straight, I played Breath of the Wild and listened to After Laughter. It was a great week.
The rest of my list, I'll just rattle down it since it's like 50 long. I have When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go, which I think is another perfect album. And that just came out this year, so it feels so new. And then Red, which is one of my favorite albums. And then I have Florence and the Machine, Ceremonials. I loved that album. And I listened to it reading so much during like a period of when I was like living at my Nana's house and everything was like, we're all condensed into like this little house and I would like have to put my music on to pretend I wasn't there all the time. So I listened to it so much. And then I have Speak Now and Death of a Bachelor by Panic!
Oh, love Death of a Bachelor too.
All excellent. So many good ones.
You know what's also great? AJR's The Click.
I had that as that just got cut off because I was like, yeah, 11.
Great album.
So good. Yeah. Okay, most disappointing album of the decade. Who has one?
I have one. I did not love Kesha's album Rainbow, and I was just disappointed. I loved the singles. I loved Praying, and I loved I'm a Mother Effing Woman. But the rest of the album just didn't do it for me.
I really liked him too. But cool. Jesse?
I didn't have a disappointing album.
Cool. My most disappointing, and like I couldn't think of any like really big disappointments except for this year. I was so excited. Oh, 1989, I forgot about that. I literally didn't even think of it because it doesn't exist in my brain. But I put down, I was so excited for Ed Sheeran's new album because I love Ed Sheeran's music. And then it's all collabs and I can't hear Ed singing in like any of them. I hear everyone collaborator and instead of him. And like that one with Justin Bieber, did not like that song. And then I heard just Ed singing it on the radio and I was like, oh my God, what is this new song? I love it. And I realized it was the same song as the Justin Bieber one. Except I love everything better when it's just Ed. Okay. Top 5 movies of the decade. I have 13. Sorry.
Oh my God. Well, do we want to jump into movies or do we want to do some of these other music-y ones?
Well, since it's 424, maybe we should jump around a little bit. Don't you think? So we don't miss it?
Sure. Movies. My list is going to be real small and sad because I don't like movies. Christine, you start.
Okay. The first one I have is Avengers Infinity War. I still think this was such a feat of cinema, just in general. The way that they balanced like 15 main characters was brilliant and funny and like moving. Every storyline came so, oh gosh, yes, Infinity War.
Yeah, that's on my list.
Nice.
Well, I did Avengers Infinity War and Endgame together just because like the 2-part finale. It was just great. I mean, Marvel movies are like some of the only movies I actually watch. So, Jesse?
Did I go? Okay. I'm really insecure about my list.
Why?
Because I just like couldn't think of like any movies. Because I don't see movies that often either. But the first on my list is Catching Fire One of
I
the
have that one down too. Oh, nice.
yes, one of the best book to movie adaptations out there. Still a favorite. Love it so much.
Agree.
Yes.
I have one that I'll do one that might be on some of yours. Maybe Ragnarok, Thor
I
Ragnarok.
have that one too.
Love that movie. Out of all the Marvel movies, it's probably my fave. I could watch it forever. I've watched it many, many times. It came on Netflix, and I just started playing it on a loop.
I still haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
It's so good.
That one. It's really great. Okay, the next one I have on my list is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2, which literally changed the way that movies are shown because we've never done Part 1 and 2 before. That was never a thing. And then we've seen it now over and over again, even just with Avengers. Like, it was a Part 1 and Part 2. So that's really cool that Harry Potter changed the landscape a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'll just do another one since I have 100. And then the next one I have is La La Land.
I have that too!
Yay! I feel like really had put its stamp on the decade. It was just really well done.
Yeah, love La La Land. One that I have that's kind of an unusual one. Because like I don't know if I'd list this as a favorite movie, but I was thinking about it, just like it's just a great movie. Baby Driver. I ended up really liking it. Like the direct Edgar Wright, I think, is a brilliant director. Like I loved the Cornetto trilogy, like Shaun of the Dead, those movies, loved those. But Baby Driver is just like so cinematic, and like the sound design is unreal. It's just like a fantastic movie.
That's a great one.
That's a cool choice. Jesse?
Yeah, the next on my list is Big Hero 6.
I expected this.
Yeah, I just love it. Most underrated Disney movie. Y'all need to go watch it. Stream it now on Disney Plus. I don't even know if it's on there, but go
Probably it is. I watched it on there over Christmas. I mean, over Thanksgiving. Cool. The next one I have on my list is Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight, which was so good. And if you like a Clue-like structure, it really has that feeling a little bit like whodunit, and it's done so well. And the first time, I know Quentin Tarantino is really gory sometimes, but like the first time I was a little distracted by like some of the violence. But the second and third times I watched it, I was like, wow, this is really good. Like there's so much great dialogue and just great stuff in general, the way it's all laid out. Oh, it's so good. I think that's my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. And then I have Crazy Stupid Love, which is brilliantly just like scripted. It's just so well done. If you've seen it, you know, like it's just, it comes together so well, and it's so heartwarming, and I never get tired of watching it.
Jesse?
Okay, I'll go. My next one is kind of an unexpected one, I feel like. And it's one that I just saw this year, and that's The Farewell. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
Yeah.
It's Awkwafina. I mostly like it because it just like connected with me on a personal level, because it's about this girl who finds out that her grandmother is going to die, and they like don't tell the grandmother, like they keep it a secret from her. And there were just so many aspects of it that like I related to, and it just like hit me in the heart. Really liked it a lot. So
I really want to see that one. I haven't seen it.
Really good.
I have one more that's probably not on either of your lists. Cabin in the Woods.
Oh,
I like that.
I love it. I thought it was so cool. See, the reason I don't like movies as much is because I'm always left wanting more. Like I much prefer to get invested in a TV series. So I like these like one-shot movies that are really contained, like Cabin in the Woods. I just thought it was so inventive and interesting, and like I don't know, I loved it.
It really freaked me out.
It was good. I liked it.
The next two I have are Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians was such an unexpected hit. I feel like we all thought it was going to be stupid. We hadn't seen a space movie that didn't take itself seriously like that, I guess. And I feel like in a while, and nothing like this Marvel movie. And it was brilliant. It was so good. And it really changed. Honestly, it changed trailers because everyone was like, oh, we need to put like catchy rock music in our trailer to get people to the theater. And then all of a sudden you saw all these rock music trailers, like Suicide Squad and like all this other stuff. And
I mean, it also changed like the tone of a lot of superhero movies.
It did.
They were also like, they were all much darker and more depressing. And then that came out and people were like, oh, we can have fun superhero movies now. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, Iron Man also did that too.
Yeah.
But this was really, it was more on the goofy side. But it was also great. And then I have Silver Linings Playbook, which I think was also, I don't know, just really, I remember that one a lot from this decade.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Great acting in that one for sure.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have more? I don't know what number you're on.
Yeah, I have one. Or another one.
I have one more.
I have two more. Next on my list is Pitch Perfect.
Ah, nice.
Such a fun movie. Love the singing. Love the comedy. Just great all around.
Yeah, agree.
That was a good one. The last one on my list is Tangled. I could have added more Disney movies on there, like every Disney movie that's come out in the decade, and Pixar for that matter. But Tangled's probably my favorite, so I'm gonna go with that one.
Cool. Okay, I have four more. I'll just rattle them off. First, Inception. Christopher Nolan is just brilliant in all his films, but Inception's my favorite. And that came out, I think, in 2011 as well. So many good stuff and coming out in 2011. And then I have Bridesmaids, which was very funny. Great comedy this decade. Friends with Benefits came out in 2011, which I got so excited when I could put it on my list because it's like my favorite new rom-com of like this age. If you haven't seen it, it's so funny, it's so good, and it's Justin Timberlake and Jackie from that 70s show. Why am I blanking on her name? You'll know her. Mila Kunis, yes. And then I have The King's Speech, Colin Firth. I love that movie. And yeah, that's also 2011. My list is like half of 2011. Okay. What category do you guys want to do next? Do you want to go in order?
Let's do one defining book.
Okay. This one was so hard. One defining book of your decade.
Christine, I feel like your defining book of your decade should be your book.
I don't know if I should pick that.
Of course you should.
I have been working on it since like 2016, so it does feel like a defining book of my decade. I have a different one down too. You guys go first.
Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children is my most defining book of the decade. Thank you.
Carry On by Rainbow Rowell is my most defining book of the decade. Thank you.
See, like, the one I put down was Just One Day by Gail Forman, which is like the book that I read before I was like, it's time to write your book about studying abroad that you wanted to write. So it does lead into my book as well. And then I could also say the like Shadowhunters in general.
Yeah.
I feel like it's my defining series of the decade.
Definitely.
I love droll you guys are. What's droll?
Like how Jesse and I were just like dull and like our favorite book is Surprise.
Is that a slang that I don't know?
No, that's an old school word.
I've never heard it before.
You've never heard troll?
Droll? I thought that was a typo.
No, so droll? You haven't heard that?
No.
It's an old word.
Okay, let's do our top technological advancements or apps of the decade, because there have been a lot that until you start thinking about it, you don't realize like how much just the way we live has changed this decade.
Yeah.
What do you guys got? We'll do rotating.
I don't know if this one counts, but I'm gonna say the mute button on Twitter. It changed my life, honestly.
Honestly, Twitter was something that happened this decade.
That's true.
It
But just
started
the
like at the end of the other one.
Mhm.
Okay, Kat.
I have one. I mean, first of all, cell phones have come so freaking far in the last 10 years.
Oh, of course.
One thing that I loved was the fingerprint reader, where I just had to push the button on my phone and it knew my fingerprint and it would open for me. I don't like the face reader, even though I have become entirely dependent on that. I have to type in my code. I'm angry. I don't like how the phone is spying on my face. I liked it when it knew my thumbprint. I mean, phones are also great.
I moved the thumbprint. Like, why would they make it gone? Why can't we just have both?
Oh, speaking of worse technological advances, them removing the headphone jacks from cell phones.
Oh, I know. I will never be free of that burden. My first one is the iPad. That came out in 2010, and I got it, and it changed everything with, like, because I was about to go traveling, and I didn't want to have to bring books, and so I like put all the books on the iPad, and it was just like so cool that I had like 10 books with me, but I only had the iPad, and just that sparked, all the Kindles and stuff and all that stuff, and all tablets in general.
Yeah.
Blew up this decade, which is really, really cool. Did you guys get the first iPad?
No, I got my very first iPad last year. But I did have a Kindle in early decade.
Cool. Yeah, someone said, I remember in your old book talks, I watched you have the iPad. And that's how I found out about ebooks. Whoa, cool. Yeah, I got it like right at that time because I knew I was studying abroad, and I was like, Mom, Dad, I need it for Christmas. And they gave it to me as like an early Christmas present. It was cool.
Solid. My next one is the ability to download Netflix stuff on your phone. That saved me so much money, like when I'm taking flights and stuff, because I used to just like download stuff on iTunes or whatever.
I didn't even know you could do that.
It's only for Netflix originals, like it's for their own content. But that's how I watched Umbrella Academy. Like I was able to watch it on a plane because I just downloaded the whole series.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Pretty handy dandy.
Okay, my next one is Voxer.
Oh.
Has been a game changer. Like I don't like talking on the phone, but talking in Voxer is fine because you can leave a voice message, or you can listen to a voice message like on your own time. It doesn't have to be like an anxiety phone call situation.
Yes.
Also, it's great for like text messaging without having to like give out your actual phone number. And Voxer is how we communicate on Booksplosion. So
Booksplosion has been built on Voxer.
Yeah, without Voxer, I don't know where we would be.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's just really cool to be able to also, you can really quickly communicate by just like holding down the button and like leaving a quick message and going back and forth. And it's almost like you're in the same room, but if they're not there, you can respond a couple minutes later. It's really nice. And the next one I have is huge, and that's Uber. And Uber like came out literally like right after college for me. And it would have been so like such a game changer in college. But there were so many nights where like I'd go out to Northeastern, like walk there and like go out with my best friend from New Jersey, and because she went to Northeastern, and then it would be like 2 a.m. We're trying to go home and you can't get a cab. And literally we'd just be walking for hours. And I have walked home at night at like 3 a.m. because I could not find a taxi. And like we'd not go places sometimes because we'd be like, what if we can't find a taxi at night? Like it's crazy to think that was only like 10 years ago.
I mean, I live in a small town, so I don't even have Uber now in my town.
Hey, we just got it recently here, so.
Well, in the cities, I think it was like where it's such a huge.
No, it has definitely been a game changer for traveling in general. Because like before, it was a whole hassle of like, how are we going to get from the airport to here? How like who's going to give me a ride to the airport?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like, yeah, it's changed a lot.
It's changed everything at the airport. Yeah. Kat, what's your next one?
I did both of mine.
Oh, we did all of them. Do we all do all of them? Cool,
I also
cool.
want to throw out like camera quality on cell phones.
Yeah,
Gone up, man.
so much. What do you got in the chat? What are your favorite technological advancements of the decade? bootlegs of musicals. That's not a technological advancement.
Somebody said the Libby app because they don't have to go to the library.
Oh, nice.
That's nice.
Amazon Prime, yeah, like all the streaming services and the way like television has changed.
Oh yeah, like Amazon Prime 2-day shipping too.
Yeah, oh my god, that's changed everyone's lives.
And they have music streaming as well. Like, I don't use Spotify, so sometimes when I want to listen to an album, I'll listen to it on Amazon.
Cool.
Find some other ones.
Streaming in general, like music has changed. We don't like buy our music anymore. We like subscribe to things.
Right.
I still buy music. I don't like that.
I do sometimes.
I do sometimes too.
Yeah. If I like really love the album, then I'll like support, because I know that they get like nothing from being on Spotify and stuff. So yeah.
Cool. Let's do, it's getting late. Let's do our top 5 shows of the decade.
Okay.
This was so hard. I have 13.
Of course.
Narrow it down to 5. We're running long.
Someone else go first.
I'll just go. I'm just going to share all of mine.
Yeah, share them all.
Okay, first up, I have Survivor. I got into that show a couple years ago, and it's so addicting.
Wait, the finale's tonight.
Well, I'm behind currently on Survivor. I'm like 2 seasons behind.
It's
But
so good.
I still love that show. I have Terrace House, which is a new show for me. It's like a Japanese reality TV show about these 6 strangers that live together, and it's about them like resolving issues and getting in relationships and stuff. It's really good. I enjoy it. Erased. It's an anime. Y'all need to watch Erased. It's like a thriller-esque story about this guy that goes back to his past and tries to resolve an issue that he had back then. Then I have The Challenge, which is basically MTV's version of Survivor, but it's not as good as Survivor, but it's still really good, and there's lots of drama. And then finally, I have Parenthood.
Oh, I love that one.
Right,
Wow, your list is so foreign to me.
Yeah.
What's your list, Kat?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Love that show. The Good Place, Parks and Rec. I'm just going to list all the NBC comedies, all the Michael Schur shows. They're all so good. Then I also have The 100 on my list, just because that's one show that like every week when it's airing, I'm like, oh my God, like it gets me so hyped up. And then I also have Doctor Who on my list, because that's just been a big show this decade. Yuri on Ice is the best show I've ever seen. I mean, it's so good. I could talk about it for a long time, but you guys don't care, so I won't. Yeah, no, that was my 5. Yeah. I mean, I could list more, but those are the main 5.
Right.
Cool. Okay, I have Crazy Ex-Girlfriend because I feel like it was just a very different TV show, and it got 4 seasons, and I am so proud that it did. And then I have Westworld because I just think that's like the most perfect first season of television I've ever seen. I could not put it on the list. Handmaid's Tale, I think, has been a big, like, very important show this decade that's very relevant. Parks and Recreation, best. This Is Us. And I have Game of Thrones has been like the show of the decade. It literally spans the entire decade. And Modern Family had started in 2008, 2009, and it is having its final season now. And that's really, really cool.
Oh, I forgot it was the final season. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's been on for so long, and I love all those characters, and like it's so lovable just in general. I also have The Bold Type and Watchmen and Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and The Vampire Diaries on this list. So we can keep
I'm surprised at Watchmen.
Oh my God. Watchmen is excellent. You should watch it. It's so good. I saw you talk about it in your last Stories You Ate, but I'm surprised it made your decade list. Oh my God. It's like, I made my top 10 TV shows of the year list, and it's like way up there. It's so good. Yeah, Damon Lindelof, just grand. He's excellent, brilliant dude. Okay, let's try to squeeze in some more here. Let's do viral video of the decade.
Mine was Gangnam Style, the very viral.
Oh, nice! I love that one. Yeah.
Which is it was like back in 2012, but I liked that moment because I watched it before it went viral, and I told some of my friends, like, you guys, you have to watch this K-pop video, like before it like blew up. So I felt like I was like a Gangnam Style hipster there.
That reminds me of mine, which was Friday, which I watched when it had 20,000 views on it.
Oh my god!
In 2011, and I was like, wow, this is a lot of views. And then I had like 1 million by the next day.
Yeah.
Jesse, what's yours?
Those were such good ones. Mine's not going to live up to them. Mine is that video of that little girl that goes, "Look at all those chickens."
I love that.
I don't even know that one.
It's a Vine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vines are like 1989 to me. I don't know.
I love Vines. I could do my best Vines of the decade video.
Okay, worst sequel of the decade.
I have one.
Go for it.
I'm blanking on the title even. The sequel to The Fifth Wave. Was it called
The Last Star or Infinite Sea?
I think Infinite Sea was the second one, and it was just not good, and it made me not even care about reading the last one. I was just like, I'm out.
Yeah, it was like a filler book.
Miss Mayhem. We talked about it before the live show because I couldn't think of one, and Christine's like, "You trashed that book so much." But I loved Rebel Bell, and then I got to that book and I was just annoyed, even though like I knew going in because I had heard bad things, but like I was like, no, it'll be fine. It wasn't fine. No.
I have two. The first was Allegiant. It was just, Allegiant.
Yeah.
It was what it was.
And then the second was like my most disappointing sequel of the decade, and it's got to be Blood of Olympus. Like, what a strong series, and then it didn't like. There's no landing there. It's like still up in the air for me, Like there was no solid end, and that makes me really sad because it's hard to recommend the series when you didn't like the last book, Yeah. Okay. Guys in the chat, least favorite. They're saying Allegiant, Wildcard, The Maze Runner, Glass Sword, Mulan. Let's do favorite and least favorite clothing trend because I think this one's super fun.
If you have a good one, you start.
Okay, my favorite was high-waisted shit came back into style. So high-waisted jeans, high-waisted skirts, crop tops, all that stuff that I already liked in the 90s, but like didn't get a chance to wear because I was a baby. And then it all went out of style. Everything was like down, like right above the vag. Like that's where jeans started. And shit, I just spilled potato everywhere. But anyway, my worst ones of the decade were those like long ass hippie skirts that like touched the floor and that was just like straight down. Do you know what I'm talking about? They were like loose and flowy. They were everywhere. And like you couldn't get regular skirts. And then, and gauchos were back in style. So like all the pants were really like flowy and stupid too. And also ripped jeans.
So mine is interesting because mine was also high-waisted things was my favorite thing.
Yeah.
My initial least favorite was gonna go to low-waisted things because like I've heard murmurings that that's coming back.
I've seen the proof. If you look at jeans, they're all being lowered.
I hate it. But I also just remembered how much I hate Crocs. I think Crocs are just awful shoes.
Crocs are like weirdly back in style now. Like people
I don't like it.
No, I don't like it either.
My least favorite, I don't even know what they're called, but they are those like really chunky tennis shoes that everybody is wearing these days.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They're like the Spice Girls wore stuff like that back in the day.
I like those.
I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
I don't mind looking at them, but I don't want them on my feet.
Yeah. And I just I like the fact that jean jackets are put kind of back in style. So
I like that too. That's a good one. I forgot about that.
Kind of on their way out, but like I liked it when it
Yeah.
was.
I've already bought all the jean jackets, so I'll have them for the rest of eternity. Somebody said the high-low dresses. Yes, remember the dresses that were cut in the front and low in the back? I still like those.
I like those.
Yeah, I enjoyed that trend. What else do we have on our list here?
Video of the year of the
Yeah,
decade.
music video of the decade.
I wonder if we have the same one.
Well, I have 3.
I have 2. I had one main one, and then I was like, oh, but also this other one.
Okay.
The big one is Bad Romance.
You know, Bad Romance came out in 2009, so I decided I couldn't
The
consider.
song came out in 2009, but the music video came out in 2010.
Are you sure?
I looked this. Let me double check, but I looked this up.
I thought I looked it up too, and I thought it was 2009. But while we're on the subject of Gaga,
You're right, it's 2009. No,
Yeah.
You can count it. It counts.
you can count it. Yeah,
it was November 24th, 2009.
I just made the cut. I have Judas music video and the Telephone music video, which both were like defining music videos for me that I like studied. I learned the dances. And then I have Shake It Off and Look What You Made Me Do, because those are my favorite Taylor Swift ones.
I love Blank Space was my T Swift one.
That's fun. Blank
That was a good one.
Blank Space. That was my pop one, and then my K-pop one is BTS's Spring Day.
I have a K-pop one too. It was Twice's What Is Love. That video is great, and it's what like really got me back into K-pop a couple years ago.
My last one is Pink Try. I really love that music video. She does this amazing dance piece that like goes through a house, and like it's kind of an abusive relationship it's so good. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Yeah, like when they fight, they like cover each other, and like I don't know if you saw a Halsey performance at the AMAs, but that kind of reminded me a lot of that's what Pink did earlier, like back like 4 years ago or something. But it was really good. Yeah. Someone said I love the Hateful Eight. What a delayed reaction. Okay, what have we not done? Video game of the decade?
This is a great music video.
Of the decade. This is a topic that I requested because I have an answer. Breath of the Wild was the most fantastic game of the decade. I'm not accepting any other opinions at this time.
Can I somebody just said that any of Sia's music videos, and how did I forget about Sia's music video? Oh my God, iconic this decade.
So good.
Anyway, Kat, you can talk about Legend of Zelda more if you like.
I don't need to say more. It's a magnificent game. And my favorite game before that was another Zelda game. It was Ocarina of Time from back in the day. So I'm excited for what new Zelda games we'll get in the next decade.
Aren't you even wearing a Zelda shirt right now?
You know what? I am.
It's high today.
That's the first one. I asked what John thinks is his favorite of the decade, and his first one is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild too.
Really good. It was magnificent. And it was like right when the Switch came out, so it was like it really utilized the Switch's controls really well, and it was like a new thing. It was great.
I agree.
My favorite game of the decade is this game called Overcooked. Like, what are you talking about? But it's this game that I've been playing with my friends where you just like cook things and there's like a time limit and it's chaotic. It's a lot of fun.
I remember you telling me about this game. I put my favorite game of the decade was the reboot of the SNES classic with Super Mario World, because I love Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. And I also put Gang Beasts because I played that game at John's house and it was fun.
You know what game was a big defining thing in the decade for a lot of people? Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I
That-
saw a lot of comments.
That was a big thing. I just saw a commercial for Pokemon Go earlier today that like made me really emo. But yeah, there was that summer when like everyone was playing and it was just such a fun time.
Yeah.
You know, my game of the previous decade probably would have like that list would have DDR on it, and like,
So fun.
it was such a like last decade thing.
I missed that game.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap this up with best meme of the decade.
I have mine right here.
I love that.
People who don't know, I feel like wouldn't even know that's me.
That's great. I really love memes, so this was really hard, but because I also have the memory of a goldfish, I'm just going to go with my most recent favorite meme, which is anything involving Baby Yoda. I have not seen a single episode of The Mandalorian, but every single
You haven't watched? Oh.
I don't have Disney Plus. I'm not paying for it until all the episodes are out and I can actually watch them. But yeah, I know nothing about this show except that Baby Yoda is my life, and I would die for Baby Yoda.
You don't even know him.
I don't know him, but I love him.
I don't even like enjoy Star Wars, and I love Baby Yoda. So
Everything
I don't watch it either, and I'm just watching for Baby Yoda.
all the memes are so cute. Like, he's just so cute.
He makes these really cute noises all the time, Pat.
Love it. I love what Twitter does with every clip he's in. Like that one clip where he was like pushing buttons in the whatever, and people turned it to like him putting different music on. It was great.
I didn't even see that, but I can visualize.
Good. They like made him play Toxic, and they made him play like all these random songs. It was so good.
My favorite meme is one from like 2011, 2012. And it's Anxiety Cat, and it says things like this. It's like guy who like calls, don't answer. I'm like, boss, I need to talk to you. And then it's just like Anxiety Cat. And let me find a good one. Gets pulled over. I'm getting arrested.
Those are very 2011.
Like that design, like that, like backdrop. It's like, oh my gosh, it's such a throwback.
It's like 3 a.m. Oh, it's echoing. Is that me? I'll refresh.
I didn't hear an echo.
Is there still an echo?
I don't think so.
It might be you, Jesse.
Have fun on your own.
I don't know if you can leave. Ah! Well, now that nobody's here, can Jesse even get back in here? Okay, here he comes. I was like, Jesse, you have the controls. Can you even come back? Do you have? Oh, Christina's gone.
Jesse and Kat are like two small children, and Christina's like a wine mom who loves really old memes. I agree.
That is especially accurate when Jesse and I have to explain slang to Christine.
Literally everything.
My favorite was she got so angry about us using drag, and she's like, what does drag mean? What does that mean?
What does that even mean? Oh man.
Well, while Christina's gone, let's talk about anime.
Let's do it. What have you been watching lately, kitten? Share your feels.
I'm still on that REVERIE hype train. REVERIE is such a good show. It's fantastic. Highly recommend.
Oh my gosh, that took so long. But I found another one. Boy says he loves you. He's insane. Run away.
All right. Well, that's it for that.
Wait.
Let's put the phone away, Mom.
One more.
Mom, let's put it away, Mom.
One more. Finally decide to make an important phone call. Hopes no one answers.
I relate to that one.
I relate so hard to that.
Okay, do we want to, to close us off, do we want to talk about defining events of the decade?
Jesse's just showing like
Your top 5 Red Velvet music videos. The limit does not exist. There you go. They're all amazing. Okay.
What's the one that I like? Red
flavor. Red flavor.
Kunkuma baby. I love that one. Let's talk about 3 defining events of the decade.
Okay, I did all personal for these.
Oh, I did all not personal, so let's go around in a circle.
I'll have a mix of both.
Okay.
Jesse, you start us off with one of yours.
Okay, I'm starting us off. My defining moment is joining BookTube and Booksplosion.
Me too.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's mine as well. I also particularly noted the first VidCon where we all met.
Oh, 2013.
We're so little.
Yeah, those are definitely defining moments. So mine are like all like defining moments of the decade in general. So I'll just rattle off a couple. We've got the first female candidate for presidency, 2016 election. Osama bin Laden getting caught. I just remember that night was like so big on the news. Gay marriage was legalized in the United States, so it was really cool. The Tesla was shot up in space. Blue or white dress.
I loved that one.
Okay, you guys.
Danny or Laurel?
I have one that was an iconic moment that I remembered because I saw some GIFs from it the other day. When La La Land was falsely announced as the winner.
Yes.
Christine and I were together. We were at NerdCon in Boston, and so we were watching this live with a couple other people. And that moment when we were all just like freaking out, and everyone was like, "Yeah, Christine was filming it. We weren't expecting that to happen." But watch Christine's vlog from NerdCon.
From NerdCon. It's called like Polony-tastic watches the Oscars or something, I feel like.
Yeah.
That was such a moment.
Yeah, that was really fun because we were all together for it too. What else do you have, Jesse?
Well, I just thought of this one, but I feel like one for the three of us too is just like our first book con together because that was like such a big deal.
That was 2014.
Crazy.
It's crazy. It's been like a year of, you know what? I thought of this after and I forgot to write it down. It's been a year of cons, and I feel like we could do like the cons of the decade. And for us, I feel like it was really like VidCon and BookCon. And those are things. And VidCon is like, ended. And it was like really the era of VidCon because it's now a completely different landscape over there.
Yeah.
Someone said meeting Christine at her book launch. That's really nice. Thank you.
That was a big moment for you, your debut novel.
That was a big moment of the decade and of the year for me. But yeah, I didn't write any personal ones down. I didn't think about it.
Kat, one of yours was finishing your book.
Yeah. Mine is just writing in general. Like my first NaNoWriMo, I think my first one was 2009, but like it was really I started doing NaNoWriMo. And like I've written a lot of books with NaNoWriMo over the years, and I finished revising my most recent one. So yeah, writing and NaNoWriMo have really defined my decade.
Yeah. Jesse, you have more?
Well, the birth of my cousin's babies.
Yeah.
It's brought so much joy to our family.
Did I call you Uncle Jesse?
No, because I'm technically her cousin. So
I know, but like you're so much older, so
I want them to call me Uncle Jesse because like Full House. Uncle
yeah,
Jesse.
yeah, I know. That's why I was excited about it. Yeah, BookTube was the defining thing of this decade for sure. And moving out to California was definitely one for me.
Yeah.
The end of the Harry Potter movies. That was like the beginning of the decade was the end of the Harry Potter movies. First BookTube video was me gushing over life and death.
I remember that moment because I remember Christine pounding on my door in the middle of the night like, Stephanie Meyer just released a new book. Did you know about this?
I don't even remember that.
I remember it.
I just remember general panic and freaking out.
I remember because like that was the year that I'd gone to Forks and that like I filmed that little video with Stephanie Meyer where we announced like, a 10th anniversary of Twilight.
Yeah.
no, it was a whole ass other book.
What a great moment.
Wild, yeah. Also, things like Beyonce dropping her album with an
Lemonade.
entire visual album with like no notice at all, just surprise.
Yeah.
Cooking with Cat was a defining moment in pop culture.
Fantastic Bookshelf Tour, end of 2013.
I get comments asking when my next one is gonna be.
Oh, the first video was the Poncho Up video.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, we should do our first video of the decade, but everyone was like, that's our first video.
Well, what was your first of the decade?
I think it was probably something stupid, though. I don't know what it was. I'd have to look it up. I didn't.
Doing your like year in review type videos at that point, or was that a more recent?
No, I started doing that at the end of 2011, and back then it was just
decade, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of the start of the decade. But the 2011 one was me basically like crying because I got my first check from YouTube. Yeah, and I'm glad I videoed that. Like, it was like $100 because you have to earn $100 before they give you a check. So you just like watch the money add up on AdSense, and you're like, oh my gosh, one day they'll pay me something. Yeah. And I had just gotten back from study abroad and VidCon and like all these things that were just like completely changed me as a human. So I'm glad I made that, but it's like really rough. It's like a 3-minute. But year in review videos, guys, if you can do them because it's really nice to look back.
I keep intending to start doing those, but I don't have memories. So like by the end of the year, I'm like, what happened this year? Did you guys know Umbrella Academy came out this year? That was 20.
It's on my list.
It feels like it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, what I do is usually just like go back month by month and like think about all the things that happened.
Yeah,
like look through pictures, because that usually helps you remember.
Yeah.
Do you put them up before January, or is it okay to put them in January?
It's okay to do January. I always like my deadline for me is always like, you have to get this up before this.
Do you have the energy to do that? Because a lot happened this year, and it would be fun to make one. But
yeah, I'm making it. I've been like writing stuff down as I think of it, like throughout the year on like a list.
Yeah.
Also, Christine, yours are so good because you always have footage from throughout the year. So you get to do like a nice little montage, and you have like referencing clips. I don't vlog enough I don't have footage.
Well, like a lot of those are just like random clips I just took though. You have those.
Do I?
You have pictures.
Do I?
But anyway, it's been a crazy year. Yo.
A crazy decade.
Yeah, crazy decade. I keep freezing on my thing. I don't know what's going on my internet. But thank you all for being here with us.
Yeah.
And we'll be back on Friday to talk about A Curse So Dark and Lonely and all our superlatives for our Booksplosion books we all read together this year.
That's fun.
That is always really fun. Yeah, we'll rank them in all different ways, like all superlatives you see in the yearbook, or like worst character, most annoying character, best character, like character you date, like all those sorts of things. Super fun.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here with us. It's been a great time. It went really fast. I'm Christine.
I'm Kat.
I'm Jesse. We're Booksplosion.
And we'll see you on Friday.
Friday.